Claire.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in.
Of course.
How was the commute?
It wasn't too bad. I thought I was gonna hit traffic, but I didn't. So I actually got here a little early. I gave me a minute to find what this was because this is a new place for me. So it wasn't stressful getting in. So that was nice.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, hopefully next time, if you decide to come back, it won't be so challenging to find a place.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, well, I just wanted to know that I am a graduate student completing my counseling skills and techniques class. This session will be recorded and viewed by my professor and some students, but it will be restored by the end of the semester. I am very limited in my counseling abilities, but nothing is guaranteed regarding, healing and being cured, and our goals being accomplished in these sessions. However, together we will do the best that we can in achieving what we can. Sound fair?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. Very brave step to start your counseling sessions, to see about problem solving and trying to figure out where some areas of concern and taking that first step to getting them addressed. So I want to start off just by applauding you first and foremost.
Thank you.
It's a very brave step to take. I want to go over some disclosure first and foremost so you can know your rights. For example, if you choose at any point to discontinue services, right, you have that right to do so. If you feel like this is not a fit for you, or if there's something's not clicking, then you'd like to be referred out, that's definitely okay. I always want to prioritize you getting the help that you need and that you want. I do just request that you let me know, and so we can have a termination session at least, right, to develop next steps. I also want to let you know that at any point as we're going through the process of the techniques that we will be doing, and if you have any input on how to sharpen or taper the technique that may better suit you, please feel free to voice that. I want you to be as cooperative and engaging in this process as possible. This is definitely your life. I'm just here to help bring insight, right? I want this to be comfortable for you and inviting for you and welcoming towards you getting your goals established and accomplished. That sounds fair?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Lastly, I just want to let you know regarding the ethical standards that I do abide by is the American Counseling Association. So I do hold myself to those moral codes. That is a very public document. So if you'd like for me to email you a copy, I can. If you'd like to do your own research, you definitely can as well. It's a public document. You just go to Google, type in American Counseling Association Code of Ethics, and it will pop up. So you can see exactly where my moral standards are and if they may fit for you. Right, that's really what it's about, is you understanding and seeing if I fit for you. Okay. So regarding some confidentiality, everything of course I've shared here stays here. Right. The only time I would be legally obligated to share anything would be, of course, if you mention harm to self or others, if there's a legal subpoena for any reason, and lastly, if there's any signs of abuse to yourself or to somebody else, then I would be ethically and legally required to report that. Okay? Does that sounds fair?
Sounds fair. Okay? Yeah.
All right. So are you ready to dive on in?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. So I thank you for completing your intake. I was just doing a quick review on it, and I see that you were having some issues with work and your coworkers. So you stated that you don't get along with your coworkers and you don't feel like your opinions and value are being valued. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Give me some examples.
I just feel like every time I have to work with my coworkers on a project, they never give me a chance to give my opinion or say what I think would be the best solution. They always just talk over me, and it's frustrating because I want to contribute and they're just not even really paying attention to me and not allowing me to help. They're just really dominating the conversation.
So it sounds like you're saying that when you do try to contribute, they don't listen to you, and they push what you say to the side. That must be I can see how that can be frustrating.
Yeah. It's very frustrating, especially like and I've worked with people for a long time, and it's just like they still see me as like the younger person, and that I don't have as much experience, and I won't know how to do my job or like help them with a problem.
And you've been there for years. Are you the youngest one in your department?
I am. Yeah, I am the youngest person. I mean, they have more experience than me. They've worked here longer, but they still just don't see me as like a valuable, knowledgeable person in the department. So.
And this is based off of your observations of them cutting you off when you speak. Are there any other examples that make you feel that way? Or any other experiences maybe that happened, like that makes you feel that way? That makes you feel like they are not valuing you as a team member?
Well, like for example, like one thing we have coming up is like the holidays. So we're doing like holiday food and stuff, and they kind of like made that list and put it together without me, and then they're just like, "Oh, we did it! Like we're done." I'm like, "You did it! Like I could have helped with that. I could have." And they're like, "Oh no, we got it. Like you don't need to help us." And I'm like, "They're not even giving me like the opportunity to help get ready for that."
Wow. It also sounds like they may not have trust you as well. Does that affect you?
I mean, I feel like maybe I just wouldn't like know what to do. So like, why even ask? Like, why even ask me if they don't feel like I'm able to do it?
And I see that you brought it up to your director. What did she say?
Well, she said that she would maybe try like speaking with them, because like me trying to talk to them hasn't really done anything. So she's gonna talk with them and see what she can do to like show that I'm part of the team, and that they do need to include me, because we're a team, and I can't just be over here and they're being a team without me.
That's right. It's kind of the opposite of a team.
It is. It's not a team.
It's not a team. And so you're comfortable going to your director about it?
Yeah, I am. I feel like she actually like listened to my concerns and like what I feel like wasn't happening within the department. So she's actually gonna show me like to maybe like take steps to help me be heard and actually work with my team.
And how long has this been going on?
It's been going on for most of the time I've worked here, actually.
Wow.
So maybe not to the same degree all the time, but it's always been like I'm the youngest person, and they feel like they know better, so they're just they work with me.
And in the beginning, when you were there, did you acknowledge this, or have you acknowledged it as time went on?
I think as time went on, like it wasn't like a problem initially, but like in different scenarios, it's always kind of been there. So it's like built up, and which just was caused it to be worse, because it's just they don't want me to do anything with the department. It's not just one thing; it's everything.
Okay. So you stated that you had trouble getting along with your coworkers. So how has this situation affected your relationship with them?
Well, I just feel like it's hard to get along with them, because like they all seem like friends and like a cohesive group, but like when I try to like talk with them, they like are like short with me, or like just kind of like sort of talk to me and then they go away. So when they're just talking, so I'm like, they won't talk to me socially, and then we'll talk with me when we're doing like a job thing also. So it's like casually and professionally.
Okay.
So
it sounds like you kind of want a more casual relationship with your coworkers as well, in addition to a professional one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would help. Like you enjoy like being like in their company, and so they're friends. So then that would translate into like working together and having that like solid foundation as a kind of like a work friend as well.
That's a valid point. I do agree. It is easier, of course, to work with your coworkers when you have some sense of foundation of like a friendship and cordiality and respect for one another, right? A mutual respect for one another. I do agree that it can transfer over in the positive regarding a work dynamic and a more cohesive unit of getting things done. Okay, so I see that you rated pretty high on career concern, goals, and choices, and even decision making. Were you basing your scoring off of your concerns here, or were they separate?
No, like they're related. Like those are kind of some of the things that like I struggle with, or I was like feeling with the situation.
Oh, that's valid.
So
let me ask you this: have this situation made you reconsider your current job, or possibly moving forward?
And it sort of has. Like I feel like if like with like my director or with my coworkers, if I can't come up with like a solution, it makes the work less like enjoyable.
Which can cause some anxiety.
Right. Yeah. Like is it gonna get better? Are we gonna find a way to work it out? So it's a lot of what if. Like what's gonna happen?
That's valid. Yeah, it is a lot of what ifs. It's kind of like life, right?
Yes.
A lot of what ifs, and we just do the best that we can. I think you took a very brave step in addressing them with your director.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure that's fairly protocol for your agency. And then that's a great step moving forward. So for the thought disorganization, can you elaborate on that for me?
Thought disorganization. It's just like if I don't have someone to like talk through what we're doing, I'm trying to like figure it out myself, figure out how to do it. So I'm like, don't have someone to like bounce ideas off or like think of different ways. So I'm like, then I get all like frustrated because if I try something myself, it doesn't work. I don't have someone to be like, well, if this didn't work, well, how do you think I could do it differently? So this causes a lot of confusion because I don't have someone to work with.
So it sounds like you're completely isolated. So it's not even when it comes down to group tasks, but maybe even your own, personal work that you have to do.
Yeah.
And you don't feel free to go to your coworkers. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Like I feel like they'll not want to help me or like shut me down because like they don't want to like talk to me or they won't want to hear me out.
Okay.
So
you feel like that's what's going to happen. So has that happened or?
Yeah, it has. Like when I first worked here, I was like learning how to do this stuff. Like they were like sure and didn't really want to help us, so they were like being made to help. So that's what I picked up on. So it makes it hard.
It does. And so this has been going on since the beginning. You just took this help to notify your director. Have you gone to any of the staff individually regarding this matter?
That's what I've had trouble with, like finding a way to like try to talk to them individually, maybe just trying to like work through whatever they feel like maybe the issue is. Just like having the words to say is hard.
Okay, that makes sense. It is a vulnerable situation, I think, on both parts. Having to go forward and wanting not to cause conflict. So you've been there for years, and this has been going on for a while. How have you been coping with this? So what have you been doing to deal with this day to day?
Well, I think like I've been like talking to friends that are like not within my own job, and maybe like looking for advice. Maybe if they've gone through something similar or they know what to do, I've tried to talk to them, which has helped some, but I still have like struggles with like my actual coworkers. So.
Okay. Have your friends provided you any advice that you may have taken on how to handle it, other than I know talking to friends can definitely help. Right?
Yeah.
It helps get that anxiety and those anxious feelings out. Have they provided you any possible solutions that you have taken?
Yeah. Well, one of them actually gave me the advice of like, actually going to my doctor and to like, seeing if that would work, because like I've tried to talk to them, so that hasn't worked. But they said, like, well, if I go to her, maybe we can think of like strategies and actually sit down and talk with them. So maybe coming from her, it would be taken differently.
Okay.
So.
Do you have any fears of getting your director involved?
Not really. Like,
Okay.
she's always felt someone I could like go to that would actually want to help. Maybe it's something that she didn't really realize was a problem, but since I brought it to her, we can actually try to find some steps to work through it, hopefully.
That sounds really like a great plan. So with that, sounded like you got that pretty much under control, right? Like, well, at least in the process of getting handled and addressed.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for our counseling sessions?
Maybe just like finding strategies of like dealing with like the anxious feelings and like the what ifs of like how it could go. I feel like it's like one thing to like have things I want to try to do, but like it makes me nervous. Like, what if it doesn't work out, or what if I have to like keep on trying, or like they don't want to work with me, like. So maybe just like developing strategies to help with all the like the what ifs and the anxious feelings with all this. Because it makes me building up, and like nothing I've really tried has worked.
Yeah.
So.
Which can get very discouraging.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like regarding our counseling sessions, you're hoping to develop strategies on how to, if you do stay there, right?
Yeah.
Some strategies on remaining there and not being, I guess you can say, your feelings determined by your coworkers, right? Not being negatively affected by them, or counseling you through, if it's not working, what would next steps look like, probably moving forward.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. Those are some pretty fair goals. I think we can definitely start with the if it doesn't change, right? Because at the end of the day, we know that we can't change people, right? So, but we can do what we can for ourselves, and make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. So I think we can definitely start there. What do you like to do? What are your coping mechanisms when things are challenging and hard? Like, I also see on your intake that you lost your dad. I'm so sorry for that. Yes, I'm so sorry to hear that. That was about 3 years ago, right? Okay. So, grief manifests in different ways, and sometimes that even manifests at work when things are not necessarily going the way that we would like, right? We grieve the idea that we thought. So what are some coping mechanisms that you use to deal with grief and to keep and to stay positive and looking forward?
I would say some of the things I do is like having like self-care techniques. So like making sure that I'm taking care of myself like outside of work, like taking time to do things I like, whether that's like, taking a walk, going to the spa, something to like take care of myself and not just always be running and trying to do something. But when something's not going my way, I just like find someone to talk to about it. If I know someone that's going through something similar, to see if they have any advice.
Okay. So that's a pattern I hear, because you mentioned it earlier. So it sounds like you enjoy connecting with people, which also makes sense, because you stated that you like to be able to connect with your coworkers and have a form of casual dynamic with them as well. Okay, so that sounds really good. Have any efforts been made for you to hang out with your coworkers? Maybe like during like a lunch period, or has any efforts like that been made?
They haven't. And I went to, I just like how about like approaching them is difficult. Like, well, like, will they say yes? Will they actually want to, get to know me? Because I have a lot to offer. So
Yes, you do.
so just like the nervous of like what would they say?
Okay. So it sounds like you may fear a little rejection as
Yeah.
well. Okay. Okay, that's fair. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay, let's establish some goals, right? You mentioned that you want to be able to build your confidence to approach your coworkers. You mentioned wanting to be able to establish a plan for if they don't change and things remain the same. And then you also mentioned if they don't change, possibly moving forward. It sounds like you have a greater desire to hopefully make this work, right?
Yes.
Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So let's establish some goals on that's focusing on that. Okay. You took the first step of notifying your director. I think that's a fantastic step. It is still a workplace, right? And everybody should be showing mutual respect.
Right.
But you also mentioned the casual friendship. Let's say this. Is there something trivial that you can possibly address a fellow coworker on? Like a task or maybe like a project or something in just one coworker. Let's not jump the gun for everybody, right? Or is there one coworker you feel maybe it could be effective?
I feel like there's like one coworker who's not like quite as resistant, like wanting to work with me. She's kind of quieter, so she doesn't like, always have the courage to maybe like talk to other people or like, help me, but maybe like trying to get to know her, like, like she kind of aspires to maybe like inviting her to lunch and seeing if maybe like we could get to know each other better and like work together. So
Sounds like a great goal. That sounds like a great first step. So what we'll do is, if you do agree to see me next week for another session, we can make that the first thing to do, right? Between now and our next session, you engage with the young lady and ask her, maybe she'd like to go get lunch, or, take a walk, because I know that sometimes you got to get out of the office, right?
yes.
And I little 15-minute breaks. So maybe you can invite her for a walk, and maybe and just taking that first step of asking her, right? And if she says no, how do you think you're going to respond?
I think I would understand that, maybe just thinking if there's like another person I can reach out to, just like not like faulting her for not wanting to, but maybe trying with someone else.
Okay. Are you comfortable doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I have like at least one other person I could try, so maybe one out of the two will work.
Fantastic. So you have some options.
I have some options.
Good job. That's wonderful. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll have you ask one young lady, maybe she wants to have lunch. And then if, she says no, we understand it's not a personal thing, right? Maybe she's just tired. And then you'll ask somebody else. But the best part is that you are willing to ask, right?
Yeah.
We may not be able to reach everybody right now, right? But it's a great first start.
Right.
Okay? And then we'll reconvene next week and we'll see how it went. And hopefully it's some really great news.
Hopefully.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Okay, do you have any other questions or concerns?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay. Last question. Do you know when your director was going to talk with everybody?
Yeah, so I actually talked to her last week, so maybe sometime in the next week she said she was going to try to sit down with those people.
Okay.
And see if she could help me find a solution.
Okay, sounds good. So maybe we can discuss that in our next session as well.
Yeah.
Okay?
See how it goes.
All right. Thank you, Claire.
You're welcome.
You have a wonderful day.
You too.